I'll recognize the gentleman from Idaho, Mr. Labrador, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Rowe, as I sit here listening to some of the comments, I'm frustrated. How do we get to a point in America that you have to have the government help you to get a high-paying job? How do we get to that point?
What's the most popular TV show in the history of TV shows?
MASH? I'm not sure.
American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Consistently massive audience. What does American Idol ultimately celebrate? I mean, beyond the singing, right? Beyond the competition. It's fame, it's notoriety, and it's success. But not just in a vacuum. It's right now, please.
And that's the point I'm getting to. I agree with you 100%, and I've heard you give a couple of your talks, not personally, but just on the internet. And I'm frustrated that we think we have to do something in the government to get somebody to do a job that pays a high wage, that we have to give them a stipend so they can move across the United States. That frustrates me because, you know what? I grew up in Puerto Rico. My mother was looking for a better job, and we moved to Las Vegas. We didn't wait for the government to tell us, hey, here's a paycheck, here's a free check, here's something so you can move all the way to Las Vegas. She was looking for more opportunities for me. She wanted me to learn English better, and she wanted me to have a better life. And she didn't wait for somebody else to give her a handout. She did it herself. And I'm just frustrated that I hear again and again and again that we have to wait for a government program. So tell me, how do we do this? How do we get in this American Idol world, in this American Idol culture, how do we get young people excited about doing this, about finding jobs that can actually pay high-paying wages? How do we do this?
I hate to say it, but it's advertising and PR. And every time I do it, I know a lot of people in the room go, it's just PR. Yeah, it's not just PR, it's PR. It's where it starts. And that's why, I really agonized over finding the right example for you guys to talk about the campaign that I'm envisioning. But it was the Keep America Beautiful campaign from 1953. And the reason I brought it up was because it didn't rely on the government, nor did it ignore it. You guys are too big to ignore, and we're too broke to ask you for stuff, right? But you have to be a part of it in some way. So a consortium around a PR initiative that involves private, public, and nonprofit, and profit, and businesses, and government, that's a way to move the needle. To what degree? That's a bit beyond my pay grade, but I hear what you're saying. And on Dirty Jobs, that was a big part of our own polemic. Nobody was waiting for anybody to do anything. You had a willingness to get dirty or you didn't. If you didn't, you weren't on the show.
But yet you said that during the recession, at the height of the recession, they were help wanted signs all over America, right?
Everywhere I went, yeah.
But yet here we keep saying that the only way to get that fixed is by actually spending more money when there's actually jobs out there. And you said that the first domino is the willingness to work. How do we get Americans back to have that willingness to work? Because we could actually do this PR campaign, which I think is a fantastic idea, but if nobody's willing to work, how do we get them to actually move for those jobs?
Yeah. Well, look, to his point, it's tempting to look at numbers and conclude stuff, but we're not a country on the move anywhere close to the way we used to be. The whole way the country was populated historically, it's all about moving and pushing. We became weirdly sedentary in the last couple of generations. So I just don't know how relevant a lot of the numbers are that talk globally about opportunities here and opportunities there. But look, beside the point, your question is just saying, how do you awaken a work ethic in an individual? And I could talk for 2 hours about it. There are ways to do it. You can't guarantee it, but an Indian on the side of the highway with a tear running down his face absolutely, positively changed behavior.
It changed mine. I agree, and I was a little boy when
mine
that
too.
happened.
It happens.
One last question. I've always thought about high school, that we spend so much time training all these kids to go to college. Have you considered maybe we can spend the last 2 years in high school maybe doing a dual track where some kids are going to college and some kids are actually doing the skilled work?
I had dinner last week with the ambassador of the Swiss Embassy. That's all we talked about. You know, you decide over there when you're in high school. Pick a path. And what's relevant isn't the choice. What's relevant is the reaction. There is absolutely no sense of a subordinate call. There's no sense of a vocational consolation prize. In fact, places like Germany, Switzerland, South Korea, really better than anywhere right now. If you're at a cocktail party in South Korea and you're talking about your kids and you hear that the person you're talking to, their kid is pursuing a life of academia, the reaction typically is, oh, I'm so sorry. So they're not able to build anything, right? It goes so far the other way. But we're not there. We're nowhere close.
Well, my time is up. Thank you very much, and I'd like to work with you on this campaign. Thank you very much.
Great.
Gentlemen, time's expired.